Hello, everyone. This is part 2. So part 2 of the Grab and Go series. Hopefully y'all can hear me today. Had a little bit of technical difficulties yesterday. So here we go. Part 2 of the series of Grab and Go, under $20 type gift ideas. Stuff that we can just make very easily, very ready for vendor shows, for your Christmas gift shops, whatever the case may be. So today we're going to do hair ties and hair headbands. I'm going to show you how I'm going to package them as well, different things that you can do. But first things first, let's see what the products we're going to use. Things you're going to need for this project is fold over elastic. Don't worry, I'll show you what it looks like and where you can get it. I'm going to be using 5/8 inch and 1 inch wide. So the 5/8 inch I use for the headbands. 1 inch wide I will be using for the hair ties or the 5/8. The 1 inch is for the headbands. You're going to need a sublimation design, heat press, heat tape, lint roller, blowout paper, and cardstock for display. Now I will give you the measurements too in the tutorial, so make sure you keep watching as well. And here we are. So we're going to set my press at 395 for 55 seconds, yes. So 395 for 55 seconds at firm pressure. Now here's the things that you're going to need. Let me give you the visual. You're going to need a lighter. The lighter is going to help seal those ends for when we do tie it or we put the fold over. You're going to need, for the headbands, this is the 1 inch. Now, because it's going to be going on an adult, me, I'm going to do them at 17 inches, but children, I do about 16 inches for a child. If it's for a toddler and an infant, I'll drop it down to 15. So adult with a nice round head like myself, I'll put it 17. For the average adult, child, or teen, I would put at 16. And for the toddler, infant, I could go as low as 13 if they are tiny, but I generally do it about 15 inches. All right, and that's for the headbands. Now for the hair ties are kind of standard for me. They are 12 inches in length. These are 5/8 inch pieces. You can get them by the roll from Amazon. You can get a 100-yard roll on Amazon. Just look for fold over elastic. All right, that is what this is called. So it's elastic by the yard. That's what you want. It's going to have a shiny side and then it's going to have a dull side. So I tend not to do the backs of them. It will be dull, but you know, you can if you want. You're also going to need glue, so you can use hot glue. Today I am going to be using my Loctite glue because my glue gun died on the last tutorial, so that's okay. Scissors, lint roller, let's get started. So we're going to do our lint roller first. All right, just give it a quick onesie-twosie over on these. I know people think, oh, why are we doing that? Well, because there's going to be little blue fibers, and if you want it to be more white than anything, let's say your design doesn't have a lot of color in the background, maybe it just has color with some white background. You don't want those little blue fibers. So you just give it a quick once over, do both sides. Why do both sides? Well, because you're going to have lint on both sides and it'll cause it to go blue. Okay, and then we'll do this. Now these little pieces that you see over here, these are going to be what you're going to fold over on your headband to give it a much more finished look. I cut these, they're about 2.5 inches, 3 inches long. I'll end up cutting it down, but I at least give myself some grace, if you will, and cut it about 3 inches. So when it folds over, it should fold over correctly and we end up with a nice clean edge. So we'll do those. Those don't get sublimated. Do I lint roll those? No. Can you sublimate them? Absolutely you can. I'm not for this project. It's going to go in the back of my head. Now, if I was using this for a toddler, infant, and I was going to attach a bow, which I'll show you a little bit later, I might want to have a coordinating color with that. I might want to sublimate it the same as the headband, so it kind of just goes away, if you will. So you could just give it a quick, but for this, I'm not going to do it, so it's easier. Now I'm using a clamshell, and like I said, it's a $3.95 for 65. We're going to do 2 today. Now, my clamshell is 15 inches long, but this is 17 inches. So, how do I get that little bit of bang for your buck? Go corner to corner. Go opposite corners on your press, and you could get more residential space, if you will, and for those who don't have the big, huge printers, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our headband material. We're going to lay it out. Now, I use tape. You can use a Pro Spray if you want. I just tend to use tape, and I'll tape it up to the top here. And I might want to recenter it just a touch. Whoopsies. There you go. Recenter it just a little. What you can do too, if you're going to be doing these, your image is whatever your length is. Don't add a bleed space to it, but you might want a bleed space to the headband. So for instance, this is a 1 inch, so I did a 1.15 for this, so it's just slightly bigger. You can add a rectangle around the outside edge for lining up purposes, especially if you have a white background. It's going to be harder to see where you're going to line this up to make sure it's straight. That's a little bit of a pro tip, if you will. Always make sure you have a little bit of a bleed when it comes to your fabrics, especially headbands. And then you just, there you go. That's one. Let's get the second one out. There it is. Now we're going to lay this down. Okay. Again, you'll be able to see it more with the green in the camera than you will the white. I will just lay this down. Again, you can definitely use a repositionable spray like Pro Spray if you choose. I like to tape mine. Guess I'm just old school like that. And there we go. And you just tape it down. Now I will add a little bit to the bottom, to each their own. Make sure that nothing white is going to be a problem. Now let's get some butcher paper. I'm going to get enough butcher paper so that I can just fold it over. Now, what I mean by the corner to corner, say this was my press. I'm going to go just like this on my press so that I can get the length here to be able to do these as a full bleed with no issues. That's a little bit of a trick, especially when you're trying to fit it all in and it's bigger than 15 inches. Okay. Going to add another piece of butcher paper to the top. We add butcher paper to the top and bottom, and I call it my little sublimation burrito. And the reason for the sublimation burrito is to protect my platen. You don't want a project to repeat itself and repeat itself and repeat itself onto another project, especially when you have white. You don't want to see a past project show up on your current project, so we'd like to protect our platen, whether it's top and bottom, with butcher paper. Now, while that's cooking off, here are some cardstock options that you can use. You can put your hair ties just going this way. What you want to do is, and I'll give you the measurements of these, you're going to want it to be just slightly bigger than the hair tie. Not so much that you're going to stretch it. I'm going to put 2 of them on here. Or what you could do is do this fun little card idea, right? Make a card, very, very simple. You can also have these printed for you if you're regular printer doesn't hold cardstock. Cardstock can be kind of finicky in printers, so you might just want to go have them printed at like Kinko's and Staples, wherever you can get your cardstock printed at. I did try sublimating on it. It did not give me the bright, vibrant color that I wanted, so it is definitely something you want to run through your regular printer. This is for the headband. Now you will see I have 2 pieces. Why? Because I want it to be sturdy. You can use a chipboard. If you use chipboard, you can always put a really beautiful sticker on the top. If you stamp, you could do a stamp on it as well. Lots of fun options, I should say. All right, let's pull these off. Remember, they're hot. I should be wearing heat gloves, but I'm not. Let's just cool this off just a little. Okay. Now, you don't want to go ripping it off because it stretches the elastic. You want your elastic to cool a little bit. So you just don't pull it off, yank it off, because that elastic is nice and warm right now. So you gently want to just pull it all back. This way there's no problem. Look at the bright, vibrant color on that. It's going to be an adorable headband. And yes, I will wear it. Okay. Then we'll go like this. Take off all the tape that we have on here. And there you go. There's your, we will assemble these a little bit later in the live. Okay. Put the tape up there. So that's what they're going to look like. How cute is that? We have Christmas, and believe it'll be a really beautiful headband for any kiddo, whether you're 2 or 92. I really don't care. So now let's get on. Same design, except we're going to put it as a hair tie this time. Now, I will have to tell you, I wasn't very good and I didn't give myself some tape space. So what I will do is make sure that I am pretty good at what I'm doing. Now, I will probably, you know what? We're going to use our repositional spray. I'm not usually a proponent of it, but because there is not a lot of space right there, you want to make sure that you have yourself a garbage bag handy. I do a quick spray. Okay, nothing too wild and crazy. And you just don't stretch it, just lay it down. Okay, don't worry about the ends. You end up cutting them off, not a big deal, because you're going to end up tying them. All right, so just gently straighten it out. Don't stretch it too far because you don't want that. And there you go. That's what it would look like if you use repositional spray. You can use the Condi Pro spray. I don't have Condi Pro spray, but I do have the Loctite spray adhesive multi-purpose you can get at Walmart. It works just fine too. Okay, we're going to put that out. Let's put some new picture paper down. And let's press this again at $3.95 for 65. And while that's cooking, let's get on to making and finishing these headbands. So what you want to do is you either want to use a hot glue, you want to use super glue, whatever glue you want to use, it is completely up to you. You want to add a little dab here and then lock it down. Okay, and then what I do is I just press it, tap it, give it a good old-fashioned tap and hold. Okay. Hold it, give it a couple seconds because it is super glue. Okay, we're going to do the same for the second. I want to let it dry a little bit. Again, just a little bit of super glue will work just fine in a pinch. Press and hold. There you go. Perfect. Okay, now this is where these pieces come into play. Now, when you're making a headband, you can leave it to where you're going to wrap it and glue it here and then wrap it around. Whoops, flip it over, Nick. Wrap it around. Right? And you can leave that open for a second. You can leave a gap right here if you want. And what does the gap do? It allows you to clip a bow to it that's on an alligator clip so that you can have a really cool, fun headband for a little preemie, for a little girl, whatever. So we want to secure the back first. Now, this is where that lighter comes in. I would like nice finished edges. So just gently, remember, please don't do this in front of children. They will get the wrong idea. You just want to go a light tappy on that so it seals it. Again, light tappy so it seals it and it doesn't fray on all those ends. You could do that on all of them. We'll also do them on the hair ties as well. We're going to add some super glue to this. I'm going to go right over that seam, okay, because I want that seam to be nice. I go a zigzag pattern over the seam. Now, we're going to lay this down and get it nice and secure and hold. You give it about a 10-second hold before you wrap it around the other side. But I want that seam to seal really nice. You're going to wrap this around. Now, you can come in here and you can cut this, and then you can use your handy dandy lighter to seal up those edges if you would like to. Okay. Do you have to? No. Can you? Of course. Okay. So now you want to wrap it around and then wrap it around again. When you wrapped it around, you want to trim it. Okay? You want to give it a good, again, a little bit of a love tap with the lighter. And this time, you want to come in here and just go with a quick super glue line or hot glue, and then hold it for 10 seconds. You're not going to sit here and stretch it right away. You want to let this glue cure, no matter if it's hot glue or if it's super glue, whatever glue you use, the E6000, make sure you give it time to cure, all right, and make sure it's nice and solid. But this is what it would look like when it's done. So we're going to go ahead and do the second one really quick. Now, I did in this tutorial show you why you might want to use the glue or press this the same as this, because I'm going to show you why. Unless it's going underneath, you know, the nape of their neck. Definitely want to go like this. Remember, add your squiggly glue. Put that on there. Press and hold for 10 seconds. Okay, we're going to wrap it around, and then, oh, I could have moved it over a little. Placement is everything. So, there we go. Now that we've got it on the back side, again, you want to trim it up. You want to add your lighter, and then you want to glue it down. Okay? What this does is it gives it a nice finished and polished look. Again, you want to hold it down for 10 seconds to give it some curing time if it is for the super glue. A little bit longer for hot glue, and the reason being is because hot glue really needs to go from being hot to cold to really have its hold. All right, there you go. And that is why. Because then you have that. So if you really wanted to, you could have it, you could sublimate on your little ties as well. You could just even do a color match to whatever your background is. Just something to kind of make it go away, if you will. I did leave a hole under here so I could slide a headband bow in underneath. For an example, I'm going to use a random headband here just so I could show you what it looks like. You just would slide this underneath. And then this would be a great headband for a peanut, right? That bow is ginormous for a little one, but this would be a great way to add that to their arsenal, especially if they don't have a lot of hair. Toddlers might not want to keep them in their hair, or they might not have a lot of hair. That's a great alternative for babies and toddlers. Okay, so we're going to set that aside, and we'll put everything together momentarily. Now let's get these hair ties off the press. There's one. And there's two. Beautiful part about the Pro Spray or the Loctite spray is I didn't have to fight with the tape. So I'm just going to do a quick trim here. Doesn't really matter. Quick trim here. We're going to end up tying it and sealing it when we're done. When you tie them, you're going to put them both together. Now, what I like to do is seal them before I tie them, because I'm going to be tying it, and sometimes it frays a little bit. So I might end up doing this step twice. Okay. And then what you want to do is take your fingers, your two lobster claw fingers, come around your fingers, and then poke it through the hole. Okay. Now, hold this end, very, very small end. Move that, before you pull that knot, move it as all the way up as you possibly can, and then pull. Okay, so if you need to trim it up, you can. They don't look like they need any more lighter work, but I'll do it just in case. And there's one. Let's do it again. Again, you want to use your lighter, seal the ends, because you are going to be pulling it tight and through. You don't want it to fray. Again, you want to take your two fingers. I put it here on my thumb, as you can see, and I wrap it around, and then I put it through the hole. Hold these little tiny tails, slide it up, and then pull. Okay, there you go. Now, if you want to give it a little bit of, we're going to show you the two ways you can do your headbands or your hair ties here. take it and just wrap it around. Now, if you think that because this is curling, it could be just that it's too tight for the fact of where you put it, you're not, all right? You can use a chipboard. You could use a thicker cardstock. You can also trim this down ever so slightly so that they still stay on, but they're not so tight. It's all gonna matter where your bow is placed or your knot is placed, all right? So what we might wanna do is come right up here and just give it a little bit of a trim, okay? We might have to trim the other side. It is slightly off-centered, but that's okay. Just slide this on. There we go. Now you will get some arching of the paper, okay? And there's one. And then here's number 2. You can add as many as you like, whatever is going to be your standard for gift giving. I tend to do 4. Okay? Then you're going to fold this down, and that could be a really cute gift idea. I would use a thicker cardstock, and I would have it printed at Staples, especially if you plan on doing a bunch of these. Or get a stamp. You could also get stickers. Stickers are a great way too to add a little bit of fun to your cardstock. Then you could have a nice thick cardstock or chipboard for this. All right, that's one idea. Or you can use... So this is a 65-pound weight. I probably could have gone with a 100-pound weight, which is slightly thicker, and it would probably have worked a little bit better. But because I wanted to print on it, unfortunately, the 65-pound weight is the only one that can go through my printer. Okay. You can take this. Or it is elastic, so it will bow. There we go. Nice part about this is you can go with this particular one. Because of the way I have it worded and whatnot, you can go either side. Okay, so you'd want just a thicker piece of cardstock. You can add a chipboard to the back, whatever you want to do. It's really completely up to you at this point. Again, it's all going to depend on how tight you make your knots. All right, so there's that. Now I did do 2 pages of this. You could put some double-sided tape on the inside, and then what you can do, same idea. I'll show you what happens when it's a little bit more loose. Whoops, upside down. So get it in here. So this is a little bit thicker and it's a little bit more loose. All right, you can make these as fun as you want. I know you guys are going, oh my gosh, Nikki, it's crazy. It is. It's okay though. I'll show you what it does on chipboard. Chipboard, I have some chipboard that I can show it to you on. And again, I'll probably do it on the chipboard for the headbands more so, just because I want it a little bit sturdier. But I'll show you what it looks like with some chipboard. So that's what this would look like. Put it all together and you will have that. Let me grab the chipboard for you. Now, just as the example, I'm just going to cut this at a random length. Try to give myself kind of, I say random, sort of a measurement, right? Because we're just doing this kind of on the fly, so I can just show you what it looks like with chipboard. I would use my teacher cutter so that it would be a little bit easier. I would put a really pretty sticker on it. I can even put a clear sticker on it. And again, you can also have Staples print them as well. I will probably end up doing them just at my house. Okay. So then this is with the chipboard, and the chipboard is just a little bit more sturdier, and this, as you can tell, it doesn't bend as much. It's gonna bend. What you can do too, maybe shorten the length a little. You just don't want it to fall off. If yours starts to fall off, tape it to the back. Okay, you can just tape it right back here to secure it. That's an easy fix as well, and then you can have it just like that. All right, same thing. If you wanted to do it for the paper, let's cut that down for the paper as well and see if you could do that cardstock. Just trim it. Let's put this one on it. And there you go. It doesn't bow as much. So you want to just, there you go, perfect. So you can use chipboard, you can use cardstock, just make sure it's just enough to where it's going to be snug. So you might want to just measure them before you print them and cut them, or at least you want to have it to where you have nothing along the sides, or you're going to end up losing your image. So that's what you can do for that. I tend to do them a little bit differently. I have a loop and I cut it through my my GCC. I don't typically hand cut mine. So there you go. I'll show you what it looks like with this as well. We're going to trim right up the side. See if that helps it on this one. I cut notches in mine. But some people don't have crickets, so we have to improvise, right? You can also get a hole punch. That will do it. Right? Not too shabby. There we go. A little bit better. So make sure that your cardstock, whatever measure it is from your knot to here, so it just barely fits in, and then that way you have the perfect little grab and go gift ideas. You can put them on cardstock for show. You can put them in a card, wherever you want to put them. This is definitely a nice under 20 stocking stuffer gift idea that you can have for any project. You don't have to do them necessarily Christmas wise. They can be any holiday, any reason, any season, as they would say. Make them pretty, make them look really sharp. They are great for literally birth to 92, we'll say. And well, an infinity and beyond, right? As Buzz Lightyear would say. So there you go. Absolutely adorable. Thank you guys for watching me on part 2 of the grab and go gift ideas. Join me Monday for part 3. This will get loaded to my YouTube channel. Let me go back to the products used in this tutorial. And again, thanks for watching. Like I said, you're going to need for this project is fold over elastic, and for the hair ties I used 5/8 inch. For the headband I used 1 inch, and I got them both from Amazon. I have my sublimation design. I used my heat press heat tape, lint roller, blowout paper, and cardstock for display. Just a little bit of a, hey, make sure that your cardstock is just slightly on the inside of wherever you put your knot or you attach your headband. This way it stays on without bowing your cardstock. You can use a Condi Pro spray. You can also use the Loctite repositionable spray that I used right here in my tutorial. You can get that at Walmart. Make sure it says repositionable. Beautiful, beautiful things that can come out of this. This is definitely an under 20. What you charge is completely up to you, but this would be great for schools, clubs, and so much more. Thank you guys all for watching. I'll see you guys on Monday.